million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Mucho Scali.
Hey, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. Just what you wanted to do tonight after getting swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks is hang out and talk about your favorite team, the Chicago Cubs. Thanks for tuning in. Just Dominic Galoro's here tonight. He just said, just wanted to get my hashtag chants in before I cry myself to sleep. Well, hopefully we can put you to sleep with a very...
That right there is a message of hope and doom.
Exactly.
Get his chants in, then cry himself to sleep.
Yeah, hashtag chants in the chat, and you can win a message of hope and doom sent to you by me tonight. Well, I won't send it tonight, but you could win it tonight. And I want to welcome to the show Mr. Fourth Row, Artie Boucher, who handled Cubs, Mr. Fourth Row, and handled Cubs Pod for us all week long when the Cubs were playing the Rockies in Denver, and did a great job. So welcome to the Son Ranto Show. How you doing, Artie?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity for doing that. It was fun doing that part, but the baseball that I saw at Coors Field was not so much fun.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. God, it was kind of ugly. Oh,
yeah, and I will say this too.
The disheartening fucking situation we're in right now.
As Lee Elia would.
Fucking situation we're in right now.
Can we just keep this on repeat?
We're in right now.
Maybe like do it.
Situation we're in right now. It's a disheartening fucking situation.
This is your ringtone.
Exactly.
Every time somebody calls you.
Hi, Mom. Hi. So no, it really is a disheartening fucking situation. We only won one game since there was a last Son Ranto show, and also disheartening to me is that IFG isn't here yet, so we don't know what happened to her. She'll be by hopefully soon. I should mention that. And Michael Cotton, you're here.
I'm back.
You're back. Yeah, that's right. You were gone last week.
Yeah, I was gone last week. I was watching Ani DeFranco play some tunes downtown. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Fun.
nice to see her back. Like maybe she gets introduced to a new audience. Here she is.
It was pretty packed. A lot of young people there. Like it was really quite a few people, but I was digging Kristen Ford. She came on earlier, and she's 30 years younger than us because we're basically the same age as Ani DeFranco, and she has all of her anger still well within reach.
Good. Well, we have lots of angry things to be angry about here tonight. And IFG is here. Hey.
Hi.
Welcome.
I think there's one thing to be angry about. I thought we were starting after the game, but okay.
Oh, did you? Well, maybe our game ended earlier than yours because you know what I mean? Like maybe you were watching it and it's like you got a delay or something like that. I don't know.
West Coast, that West Coast time zone, we're 2 hours earlier than you, right? So we've been on for 2 hours.
So what are you drinking, IFG? What are you cracking there?
Canned wine, because that's all this team deserves right now.
Canned wine.
Canned wine. We've come to that point of the season. Oh God, it's the canned wine September collapse. Welcome.
Well, I am in contrast to what our team is doing. I am drinking an Oktoberfest beer from Lake Time Brewery because I am celebrating Oktoberfest, but the Cubs seem to not even have any interest in October at all.
They are not very festive. I will give you that at all.
Yeah, well, do the Cubs do they even play in October? They do. They are going to play October baseball this year.
Yeah, one game.
It's October 1st against the Brewers. This is the last game of the season. Joey W writes in, more like a Mad Dog 2020 season. You know, I puked banana red Mad Dog behind this guy's bed one time when I was like 19 years old. You know, one of those alcohol mistakes you make when you're young that you don't realize what's happening to you. And I've never been able to take that stuff again. Like, oh man, I can still smell it in my throat, you know, just terrible. And it's kind of how I feel about the Cub season. So it's appropriate comment, Joey.
Yeah. The time I mixed Jägermeister and Shock Top.
Oh God.
Mistakes have been made.
What are you drinking, Artie?
So I'm drinking Mountain Dew Voodoo, so maybe the Cubs can use a little voodoo to get some freaking.
Wait, Mountain Dew has a voodoo flavor? Like,
yes.
What flavor is voodoo?
It's a mystery flavor.
I always called voodoo was Mountain Dew and vodka. I always called that a voodoo. But I don't think they're bottling up. Actually, no, Mountain Dew actually does have hard Mountain Dew now. You can go get alcoholic Mountain Dews.
Yeah. No, I've seen that all the brands are coming out with alcoholic versions of themselves. And hey, so are the people. They're coming out with alcoholic versions of themselves too. And they're running the streets of Chicago as we speak. Speaking of alcoholic degenerates, thank you to our 116 Patreon supporters who keep this show live on the air. We love you. Seriously, we don't do this show without you. It's the only reason we do it. And if you're not one, you should be, because it's only $1 a month. You go to patreon.com/sunranto and you sign up and you get to join our Discord, and you get to also join us after the show tonight, where we're going to be hanging out, commiserating on this just really epic Cubs collapse. It's also brought to you by Blake Beard's Tickets. Very few games, only 6 games left this season where you can buy Blake Beard's tickets. I don't even know if they're all available right now, but at the Blake Beard on Twitter, if you want 2 tickets down the third baseline that are really
and if you're gonna drink about this team, you might as well do it at the ballpark.
Yeah, why not?
You might as well do it before you go into the ballpark.
Yeah. Maybe a bar across the street might be better for you.
Hit the Nisei or Wrigley North or something like that, and then all the different places, and then you go in.
Did you guys see Nisei got broken into?
I did. I'm furious. Who do I have to beat up over this? Like, I will fly to Chicago.
I mean, it really is a kind of. I mean, of all the bars to break into, it's
what were they going to find? Like, did they steal the bottle of
jalapeno
Malone filled with baseballs that they would not allow me to drink from?
Speaking of voodoo flavor, anything with Malort, is that voodoo? Is that Malort flavored Mountain Dew? Is that what voodoo? Pretty could raise the dead. Also, Rogue Wave Creative is one of our sponsors. He at a special level. He does branding and web design, and also we're giving away 5 quintuple XL jerseys to whoever gains the most weight over the holidays. It's a weight competition. And hey, Sunranto Show's got to jump the shark somehow. It's been a while, so let's have a weight gain competition and get canceled. So anyway, we're giving away those. So look forward to that. And all the eating too. I'd be looking forward to that. I might try to win that. A North Side Numbers Game, the Cubs PS Plus podcast, also sponsors us. That's Mike Waller's podcast. And I listened to it this week, and he had Brendan Miller from CHGO, or as we call it on this show, Chuggo. They hate that so much. I don't understand why.
It's their fault. You got to lean into that. They made us.
Yeah.
They decided to do Chuggo. I don't know.
I can see
why. I've been trying to do Chuggo on this show, and nobody sponsored me yet.
Yeah. I mean, Cody literally does a beer bat. Like a chug, and they still don't call it Chuggo. I'm like, the Chuggo chug. Yeah, like, this just writes itself, and they just don't lead in. I can see why you don't do Denver. Like, you don't want to be like.
Well, we do. They do have one. It's DNVR.
I know, that's what I just said. Chuggo works that you just fill in the vowels automatically. With it doesn't work the same.
I think I'd call it D-Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Sounds like a bad reverb.
The Rockies did never won anything.
The Rockies
ever.
did never won it. They never will. Unless they're playing the Cubs. God damn it. All
So
right.
there are
Fellas,
12 games left.
yeah. Well,
3
before
against-
we get into what's coming up, let's talk about these games that we just got through, Danny. We got Artie on here. Mr. Fourth Row, sitting in the fourth row, watching these games, reporting on it for us, giving us the week off, which was wonderful, not having to wake up and having to do that, and getting a chance to listen to somebody else do it was very interesting because it's kind of hard to do it every other day and just get your thoughts out for the one game. each
Yeah.
time.
Welcome to the show where Michael complains about the show he's on. Fuck,
But
dude.
but yeah,
Like,
so
it's really hard, and I had to wake up, and it really sucked. And
It does.
It's the biggest pain in the ass my life has.
makes my
thanks
life
for doing it
so
for
much
us.
harder. But yeah, so Artie, tell us about the games. I mean, you got to see the triumphant return of Chris Bryant, the third baseman that all Rockies fans hated as long as Arenado was there. And then he returned, and now he plays first base, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, were Rocky fans even excited, or were Cub fans just excited to see Chris Bryant more? Like, who was more excited to see Chris Bryant back? Cub fans or Rockies fans?
Oh, well, the thing that I got from the fans around me was that, oh, Chris Bryant is playing.
He's alive.
and we're like, and us Cubs fans, we were like, well, we're glad we got out of that mess, luckily enough. And it's funny, some of the conversations I was having with some of the Cubs fans, it's what was mentioned, I think, before by you, Danny, on one of the podcasts was that that rumor is out there that KB wants to be in a place that doesn't draw a lot of attention. They're like, yeah, he can probably go in the grocery store here and not get recognized because he plays for the Rockies, which is a team that isn't popular in Denver. And it's well, right now it's Nuggets, being the champs, the Nuggets, Avs, Broncos, then Rockies. If that,
the only reason anybody would probably do a double take on him is that he is like 6'4".
right, he's really tall.
That's like the only reason.
They're like, he must play for the Nuggets. Is probably what they think.
He's
You're like, you look familiar. Are you a point guard for the Nuggets?
Yeah. Are you Djokovic?
We have a cat sighting. Alexander Humphreys, the 9 other
Alexander
names.
Guinness, Humphrey Bogarts.
Yeah, I had one of the names in there, if not two. Cat sighting.
He's an
that was
excellent shortstop.
PCA came up, and you got to see his debut as well.
All right.
Didn't go quite as well as Javi's debut back in 2014 when he hit a game-winning home run.
Three of us.
PCA though was covering mad ground out in the outfield, and that was exciting to see. Even though we only won one of the 3 games against the worst team in the National League, it was still exciting to see PCA because we're never going to see him again. Apparently, he's not on the team anymore. At least I haven't seen him except for maybe an inning or two yesterday when he was a defensive replacement for an inning in the 7th or something like Ross GPT special. But so I know you were sitting right behind him. So it looked exciting on TV. We saw him cover a lot of ground. I don't think we've seen that kind of play out there for a long time. How did it look live? Was it as exciting as it felt like it?
Yeah, because Coors Field is, you've been there. Michael, of course, has been there a lot. Coors Field is pretty spacious, and you got to cover. If you're an outfielder, sometimes you got to cover a lot of ground. And if you're used to being at Coors Field watching, like, oh, that's going to be hit, that's going to be hit. But you got this PCA. He's fast, and it was like amazing that he caught those 2 or 3 catches. A lot of them were right in front of me because I was literally in like just center of left center field where I was sitting. So that was good to see, of course, the one that, that was the tough play that he did miss, but I mean, he was at least there, so it was really good to see somebody cover that and basically give Hap and Suzuki, you guys can just play down the lines. I'll take the rest,
Speaking of defense, David Elliott writes in, IFG just threw the cat better than Madrigal from first to third.
I know. She didn't even have to run halfway to the door.
0 steps taken, just yeet.
So, actually, Madrigal's gotten a lot better. He's not taking 5 steps anymore. And somebody, I forget which announcer remarked, they're like, oh, yeah, he realized he actually had a pretty good arm and just started throwing the ball normally, and then it was fine. And you're like, what the hell? What is going on? Hey, you're like the coach telling him, like, hey, you don't have to take all those steps. You just take 1 step and throw it. Oh, really? I thought
Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So, and also Alfie Campos writes in, Ross hates rookies. It
Oh my
certainly does
God,
seem
he
that
does.
way.
He really does. He only likes old men who are grayer than he is. Like Jan Gomes.
Ross is over here screaming, Talkman's a rookie. I let him play.
Let the kids play. You mean Mike Talkman? No, the other kids.
Yeah.
Canario still only with the 1 at bat, but on the team.
Right.
He did not play he hasn't played at all. All week he didn't play. He's just there.
He's just there.
He
Yeah.
was on.
Candelario hurts his back, cannot play, and you're like, oh, well, I mean, it's almost the same name. At least he can go out and take some at bats. Like, you probably need him at this point. Nope, not going to see him. Like, we're down, guys. Guys are just falling apart, and he still doesn't get to play.
Well, and I've seen a lot of Ross hatred, so much so, and we've been on this for a while. We've been like, I don't know, David Ross is the guy. Like, he seems bad.
Everybody is chasing this show when it comes to their takes.
Exactly. Well, and now we've gotten to this level. So look at this. Look what people are making. Like Dave and Buster's graphics where they call him dumb and bald. Which, by the way, if you're going to make a dumb and bald joke, like at least get a picture of him without hair. Like, you know
Come
what I mean?
on, right? Yeah. Like there's got to be a come on.
Yeah, I'm all for ripping on his dumb baldness. But you need a graphic to do it.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I've been sitting with this for a minute because, it always gets to the point in the season where I'm going to get like overly emotional about how much we've lost. And I'm like, who can I really blame for this? It's easy to point at Ross. And then like part of me is like, well, he's doing the best he has with what he has. And like, we know he's not very good. But like, if you really look at this.
Yeah, no, I saw you. In fact, I was going to ask you to bring this up because just explain what this is, please, because this is very telling.
Yes,
so the negative wins. Yeah,
this is pulled from Baseball Reference. It's our roster organized by negative WAR.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, read through it.
So we have at the top. We have at the top Trey Mancini, who's played on defense for 55 games and has a WAR of minus 1.4. Jamison Tyone, who has pitched in 27 games and has a salary of $14 million for a WAR of negative 0.9. Skipping over Matt Mervis, who is a baby and doesn't count. And Caleb Killian, who's been in only 3 games. We've got Eric Hosmer, who in 15 games has cost us an entire half win of play. And then Tucker Barnhart, who in 46 games, 42 of them as catcher and 4 as a pitcher, has cost us half a game as well for a tune of $3.25 million.
I wonder how much of his negative WAR is his pitching. That would be so unfair.
Wouldn't that be funny if it's like he, as a catcher, he's just 0, but he's 0.1 on every time he hit the mound?
He's trying to get a new contract. They're like, well, you were negative 5 WAR. He's like, but it was my pitching. It was like,
just
well,
don't
go
pitch
out
me
there
anymore.
Hey, better work on your curveball, buddy.
I just feel like at the end of this season, when we are a game and a half out of a wild card position, like those are the people that we need to be mad at, because for $25 million, we got 3.3 games behind.
Yeah. And here we are. We're actually on the outs right now because there is basically a tie for the third wild card spot that we're in with Miami, but they own the season series.
And so does Arizona.
Yeah,
So-
versus us. Yeah. And so does
Oh,
Cincinnati.
but I guess
who's
Arizona's
right
got a
behind
half
us.
game. Arizona has a half game. Cincinnati is a half game behind us, and they own the season series. So
Yeah.
So we just have to we have to do this by record because all the teams that are still in it, I'm kind of thinking San Francisco is not going to be the team, but you never know. There's still, time for this to shake out a little bit differently, but they're 2 back. But right now we're out. We're out of this. Like if the season ended tomorrow kind of thing, we're out.
Yeah. So Mike
Okay.
Waller here in the chat brings up, he says this is largely a front office problem, in my opinion, not to fully clear Ross, but the roster was a really big problem early. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for setting me up for my next little slide here. Look at May.
Yeah.
The
these
orange
are
is
all the
games we
losses.
lost.
And this is a graphic with all the losses that we had in May.
Yeah.
So this is between April 28th and May 31st, we lost 21 games and won 10. So in the month of May alone, like not even counting getting swept by the Florida Marlins in the last 3 days of April, in the month of May alone, we lost 18 games and won 10. We were playing the Washington Nationals. We were playing the Minnesota Twins. We were playing the St. Louis frickin' Cardinals.
We lost 2 or 3 to St. Louis.
Phillies. I mean, Cincinnati Reds. And we lose all these games. We win 10 games in May. Thankfully, we, play in a league that has a split season and nothing before the All-Star break counts.
They say that you cannot win the division in May, but you can lose
You can
it.
certainly lose one.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
And that's what we're looking at. And we have talked about this on this show quite a bit, just about how they broke with the wrong team and continued to ride that because the worst thing that could have happened to the Cubs happened in April, and that was that they won. With that bad team, they happened to win.
they went 500, which was better than was expected, which felt like winning.
Well, but they were good early, then they started to drop off late, and that's how they ended up with that 500 April. Like we had a good stretch in there, and everybody got excited, and then they start dropping off, and then we got May, which was when we found out, which was when everybody came around to our way of thinking, which was, what are we doing with this team out here?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and we continue to see that too, like with the idea of Ross hates rookies. And I'm not saying that like PCA is going to come up. In fact, he looks a little bit overmatched in some of his at-bats to me, but if he was going to come up, late inning replacement, steal a bag, lay down a bunt, that's fine. And I can see them using him that way more so. The people that are calling him for him to like just be given the starting center fielder job with a robe and a crown and rookie of the year instantly, that's ridiculous. I mean, he's got to play his way onto the team. He hasn't even had really a proper like spring training with the team. He is really young. I think they should give him more of a chance, especially in these spacious outfields that they've been playing in Colorado. And
Absolutely.
specifically,
The whole point was to bring him up in this spot where he could do the things that he is truly special at. And Artie, you saw this. You saw the guy running around out there in the outfield.
And it was beautiful.
And did you get to see him? I guess he was on base one time, right? Or
Yeah.
twice.
He was on base one time. He got thrown out because he thought he could still
Yeah,
And you know what? I expect a brand new baby who just got caught up to make bad decisions like that. They should be making those decisions in April, not September.
yeah.
But I do expect them to make those decisions.
well, and
Now,
Ross,
Artie, did you get to see him throw? Like, did you get to see the arm on the kid at all? Like, did he have any plays that he was trying to make?
he didn't really have anything beyond, just the typical stuff that, like a base hit that went to center field. He had to get the ball back in, anything, just that typical type stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm asking because I got the chance to see him last year playing in a playoff game in Cedar Rapids. And those were the things that I saw, was just the speed, the arm, the hitting was okay. I think he got a couple of hits that night, but it wasn't anything like amazing, but the other stuff was, and that's some of the stuff that you can really see when you're watching it.
Yeah, but don't you know that David Ross isn't in the interest of developing players right now?
This is what grinds my gears, because if you are a baseball manager on a major league team, you are developing players 100% of the time in your job.
Yeah. And the idea
you are developing major league players who have been there for 10 years, and you're developing new babies who you called up yesterday. You are always developing players. And if you are not in a developing players mindset, you are in the wrong job.
Jamison Tyone signed with this team for the exact reason that they were going to help him develop new stuff. That was the whole point.
Yeah, he was like, man, I'm kind of not at my best self right now. I would like to sign with this team who has the fabled pitch lab that's going to help me be a better me. That is developing players. Yeah. Like, that doesn't mean...
Not not
forever, because I know that's who we are, but still.
Yeah.
Please, somebody else talk.
Yeah, and not to excuse PCA's terrible start as hitting, but in Colorado, he was put into some really tough spots. He was in he bunted in a very tight spot to get somebody over, and then but that's also the Cubs too. Is the Cubs can get people on base, but they can't bring him in. So those were the tight spots that he was stuck.
Well, I don't mind him doing that, because he is that kind of guy. He's fast. He can bunt for a hit, and maybe it's his actually best way on, because
you got to bunt at the right time. You don't just go tell the kid in his first at bat in the major leagues, go bunt.
But yeah, but
that's what it was, though, and he did it. And he got it down, and it was a bunt situation.
That's what it was, but that's not what you do.
I know it's not.
Don't make me get the shirt out.
And he got the runner that was on first out at second, and he got off.
But can we talk about another
fact that I have to sit here and complain about bunts? I fucking love bunts.
Never bunt.
Yeah.
You just have to do it at the right time.
So, but can we talk about Ross's other quote, which is not just that, I hate rookies and I'm not here to develop people, but that he also is going to just ride his guys into battle, that he's been here with all year.
Ride them into the fucking grave, because they're almost as old as I am.
I know, and they're tired. Like, that's the whole point of the September call-ups, probably in the first place, to develop guys that now these guys are going to get a taste. You have an expanded roster, and they were overusing it before, so I'm fine with just it being two, 3 people or whatever it is. But
I'd like a few more, but maybe not the entire 40-man roster.
But it also, isn't it helpful to have some fresh legs? Now, I know these guys have been playing in the minors, but that's really more development, and it's not as grueling as a Major League Baseball season. It just isn't. But to have these guys come up and help your team right now, they've got to play.
Right. It doesn't help anybody if Canny is sitting on the bench.
Yeah, because Dansby Swanson's going 0 for 6 in a freaking 13-inning game.
Right.
And it's because he's tired, man. He's playing the hardest position and he's tired. Can you figure it out? And
I don't know, maybe put Nico at shortstop and let Christopher play for
second.
5 minutes.
Yeah, put Madrigal at third or second.
Literally do anything.
You have the personnel to make the changes and make it work.
Right, but you have people. No, you would rather just give up your DH for the 3rd or 4th time this season to do nothing.
Let me tell you a little story. I want to tell you a story
I love stories.
that I heard from my grandfather back when I was a youngin', and it was about a team in Chicago that played in 1969. And all they did was just play the exact same players the entire season. And there was a curse that killed them. And the curse was Leo DeRocher.
No, it was a cat. It was a cat. You're wrong. It wasn't nothing to do with
Xander,
Where's the cat?
all your
I'm just saying, the most famous second place team in the history of baseball is out there at all times for us to learn from, and yet they don't seem to get it.
Oh, I gotta upload Cubs of '69 now for the closing song
There you go.
because we
They
definitely
were
need
the
that.
Cubs of '69.
The greatest second place team of all time. So yeah, the other game. Well, we should talk about that crazy game yesterday because, to be honest, the Rocky series was kind of boring. Like there was the one win, which we're all very proud of.
Hold on 1 second. Hold up. We brought Artie on.
He watched all the games. Like we don't
He
need to
said
know
like
like
4 things. I just
Artie, did you
Hi,
eat?
Artie. How are you? I like your hat.
Artie, did you eat the
we
bull
are
balls?
on it tonight.
Did
We were just fucking. Everybody's like riled up.
Nobody gives a
And-
fuck about anything because
Let's
we're just
interrupt us, Artie. It's fine.
yeah.
Just jump
Artie,
in
did
as
you
you
eat
want
the
to.
bull balls?
No, I did not.
No. Have you had the bull balls there before?
I am not.
Yeah.
What's a
I
bull
have-
ball? Please
Rocky Mountain
give
Oysters.
Rocky
Testicle of a
Mountain
bull.
us detail. Guys,
Rock-
shut up and let Artie talk.
Rocky Mountain oysters, which are, if people do not know, they get a certain part of the anatomy off of a bull,
The
Just
balls.
saying.
and they fry them up.
In
Yeah,
Colorado,
I have.
penis good. I've had them. It tastes like they always want to tell you that it tastes like chicken. It doesn't taste like chicken. It tastes like
Speaking of bull penis, you know who
chewier.
was available at the trade deadline? Paul Sewald. You know what team got them? The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
You know who probably needed some bullpen help? The Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
saying.
you don't say.
Yeah. We needed some bull penis and some bull balls. And we got Quas, who I don't know. He's interesting. I don't hate Quas. Like I don't. But it's not Seawald. And by the way, their entire bullpen sounds like sea monsters. As I was going through that 13 inning game of everybody they had,
I
like
was like, what is
Mantafly. It's like it's a
Mantafly?
Mantafly.
Is that a Pokemon with 3 heads?
Yes,
Come on.
exactly. It's got tentacles. It's a Mantafly. It's got little suckers on his fingers.
Or Aquaman's nemesis.
Yeah.
Oh yes, exactly. You got the big black head, right? Like it's this giant thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It sounds
Mantafly.
like a Guar character. Yeah, they're and also the Brewers got Chafin, who's helping them. They keep winning, so now the division's off. Like, remember when we were a game out? We're telling Eric, who was in the chat, by the way, bragging that the Eric Wheeler was in the
You know
chat.
what?
I don't know where his.
Go away,
He's
Eric
in the
Wheeler.
chat. Oh, fuck off, dude.
Yeah, exactly. This is not that kind of show. This is late night. This is the Sunday Scary show.
Oh, my
But
God.
We all been drinking for hours. Go away.
yeah, it's got it. Where was I going with this? I don't even know.
I
What
don't
was I
know.
going to say? Oh yeah, the Sea Monster game. Oh yeah, they have all their guys sound like Sea Monsters. They got bullpen help. The Diamondbacks look like a team against the Cubs anyway. That's ready to have that kind of season where they're going to get hot at the right time, and they might even make a little playoff run because now they're in the playoffs and they're taking over from us. And they got more help. They've got more interesting players. They're stealing bases. They're getting the big hits. And even somebody like Zach Davies, as Michael Cotton calls him, evil Kyle Hendricks.
Evil guy.
Evil
Unfortunately, so his picture on MLB.com, he has like the bad teenage mustache and the goatee, and when he's on the mound, like you can't see it, but when they get real close, you can kind of see it. He can't grow facial hair, but he still has it, and I think it makes him more evil.
Yeah.
This is just
The
particularly
old
annoying
days,
for
they
me.
would put like the big full thing on him, but yeah, he's just more evil because he can't even grow out the fur that he's supposed to have.
This is just particularly annoying for me because I haven't acknowledged the existence of the Arizona Diamondbacks since Randy Johnson was on the team.
Yeah. And the Cubs suck against the Diamondbacks too. It's 51 and the Diamondbacks are 51 and 37 against us. So the Cubs are 37 and 51 and actually 52 now. And the Cubs are 83 and 94 overall against the Diamondbacks. So we have a losing record against their franchise. And against freaking idiot freaking Zach Davies, evil Kyle. Check this
Remember
out.
when we traded you Darvish for Zach Davies?
That's like the worst part of it. Like that.
And
That's like the icing.
terrible.
That's the cherry on top of this freaking shit Sunday. So, but here, check this out. Against the Cubs, Zach Davies, a man with a 4.34 lifetime ERA in his quite long career, mostly with the Brewers, against the Cubs is more than half a run better with a 3.77 ERA, which is many, many starts. I remember many a game of him being our kryptonite because he throws that Kyle Hendricks stuff. And when we had all those home run hitters, they only could hit fastballs. And the off.
What is wrong with Kyle Hendricks that he's not teaching us how to hit slow baseballs?
Yeah, you should be teaching our guys. Kyle Hendricks would carve our team up back then.
Literally, he would murder us.
So, but when freaking Zach Davies, who they got, played for the Cubs, he had a 5.78 ERA. I mean, he has an ERA 2 runs better against the Cubs than he did playing for the Cubs. And that's just the kind of luck. And I was listening to the Chuggo podcast, and Corey Friedman, it was on Friday night, and we're facing Zach Davies the next day. And he said, matter of factly, he goes, oh, well, the Cubs are never going to hit Zach Davies. We're going to absolutely get creamed by him. So, like, don't even watch tomorrow. It's not even worth it. And he said it so matter-of-factly, like he knew it was going to happen. I'm like, you know what? He's right. So I texted him. I'm like, dude, there was nothing more obvious in the world to me than the fact that the Cubs were not going to hit Zach Davies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. It's been nothing but bad choices all the time. And earlier,
You know
when we were
who
talking
could hit
about
Zach
Kuas-
Davies?
Who?
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, he might get a chance to do it in the freaking wild card.
Remember that time he hit 2 home runs against Zach Davies in the same game? That was delightful. Too bad we gave him away to the a different team that's actually going to be in the playoffs for nothing, for $0, for no money at all.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about Kuas earlier. Well, we traded Nelson Velasquez for him.
Yeah.
And Nelson Velasquez in a position that the Cubs kind of needed, that backup center fielder. He's been worth 0.8 WAR since he's gone over to Kansas City. And he's got a 9.11 OPS.
Yeah, he's hit a ton of dongs, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 10 home runs in that time.
Yeah, I was sad about that, but they didn't like him. And it was obvious. He came up, hit a grand slam, got sent down. Never played him again. It's just like, just playing all the wrong guys. But they're like, yeah, Mancini, get out there, play some right. You're like, what? So, Artie, what else?
We've got Talkman sitting in the wings. We'll be fine. It's his summer.
So
his name doesn't end in a Z.
Artie, more Cubs fans at Coors Field than Rockies fans, would you say?
I would definitely say, yeah. It's there's definitely a lot of more blue than purple there. The Rockies are not doing well, so they're not drawing, especially on Wednesday for the day game. It was stadium wasn't filled. Yeah, it was really empty. I mean, the balls were all those home run balls, but weren't hit by the Cubs players that go all around me. They were all hit by the Rockies fans, especially KB's that went over there. It was awful. It was not a fun game to watch, or a series to watch. Being in attendance as a Cubs fan,
it was the whole week was bad. I mean, but we have to acknowledge that 13-inning fiasco, because that was really just kind of that was the worst game of the week, maybe of the year. It's up there. Like, it's definitely in the top 3 worst games of the year. It's the most recent worst game, so it feels very fresh in my mind.
They tied on Saturday, didn't they?
No, unfortunately, they've changed the rules in a way that you can never watch. And I'm not coming around on Manfred Man. I think having a runner on second is stupid, but it does make the game more interesting in the fact that you can go back and forth, scoring this stupid runner. And at the end, when you've been bored to tears for innings because nobody's doing anything, nobody's on base for 4 goddamn innings, and finally, in this stupid tie game where nobody's doing shit, at least there's something going on. Like, this
is the argument. This is the grand baseball argument that everybody has to have now because of fucking Manfred. how much do we really want to reward mediocrity? Because this fucking like having a guy on base in extra innings just so that something happens, that's fucking rewarding mediocrity. Having the Cubs and the Diamondbacks battling it out, it's like, yeah, it's exciting because they're both battling for this fucking invented spot that didn't exist for 150 years of baseball, and now all of a sudden it exists. And is it fun? Sure, but it is still rewarding mediocrity. Like
it is, but it's also
this
fun.
is the worst.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's so fucking frustrating for me because it's like it's I don't know. It's like a fucking sitcom. Yeah, I can sit down, I can watch it, I might laugh once a half hour, and it's fine. Whatever, but it's not fucking high art. It's a fucking sitcom.
Not good, right?
That's
But it's
what
not
we get
supposed
now.
to be.
It's baseball. It's not high art.
Yeah. Well, I
No,
love
it is fucking high art. I disagree. Baseball
I mean,
is
be.
one
sometimes
of the
it's
highest
high
art
art.
forms, and it's being
Like-
fucking ruined by these people who just keep throwing all this stuff in there. Look, and
Look.
I'm fine if you want to have this end of season tournament, but please let's call it the end of season tournament. Let's really fucking rev
they
this
pretty
thing up.
much do. It's just
Let's
called
make
postseason.
this, but let's just make it the NCAA. Like,
I
let's
will-
just turn it into that.
Cotton, I will agree with you. I consider the wild card the postseason, but not playoffs.
What's that?
Well,
Like
now
if
it's
you're
all-
not going for a division, it's not a playoffs yet. Like the wild card is something separate. It is the postseason determining who goes to the playoffs series.
I wanna
Oh
bring
yeah,
in this-
yeah.
I want to bring in this comment. David Elliott says, without the Manfred Man, games could theoretically go 18 plus
I
innings
hate this.
and involve
it
the
off at
backup
12.
catcher pitching. Do we really want that? MLB doesn't think so. And
No,
well, he's wearing it.
we should call it after 12. If it's a tie, it's a tie. Fuck you.
Well, he's referring
But-
to Michael's clothes, who's
Yeah,
wearing a John Baker Day hat and
Here's the
sweatshirt.
problem. Here's the problem with that. Fucking, they bring in the backup catcher when they're up by 10 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they just bring in the backup catcher whenever
Yeah,
the
I
fuck
know.
they
Why
want.
burn a
It's not even
pitcher
a
for this?
thing
And
anymore.
then we got to deal with it. It's stupid. Sorry, I'm talking over you, but we agree.
Yeah, and Mike
As
Waller
we generally do as we argue, we agree. It's weird.
says it, but here's the Mike Waller says a tie should be okay. I agree with that, but what I'm wondering is this with the Manfred Man rule. I was talking to somebody the other night about like how they're doing the replacements and the how you're playing the game.
Sure.
Now you're playing that the inning. It's that the game's going to end this inning. You're not playing in a way because that there's a high probability that the other team's going to score their run. So
Right.
you're always playing for the 2 runs, and you're never thinking that I'm going to need another pitcher next inning because this game's we're either going to lose it or we're going to win it. So
Right.
you're not thinking in terms of like, and I need to save this bullpen arm, and I can't blow this guy. So Lossy,
And if you're David Ross, you're not thinking I'm going to need a designated hitter the next inning.
exactly.
Oh,
if
and
you're David Russ, you're just not thinking.
but you are thinking I'm okay with blowing this guy.
and blowing the game.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cotton.
Phrasing? My bad. Phrasing.
I don't know what you're thinking, Cotton, but I am certainly not thinking these things. But
I'm just talking about, using guys whenever you feel. Oh, that's
once
that's
again,
crazy.
yeah, what are you doing over there?
Not good at this.
Hi, Artie. How are you?
I was gonna say I think they should put in the Mr. Baseball rule. I don't know if you guys
Let's do it. Which one?
Mr. Baseball?
I love Mr. Baseball. Tell
But
me more.
there's the scene where it's like the game can't end after whatever 16 innings or whatever he said, and he's like, "What did we make it up? We don't. That's it, baby." So who knows?
Yeah. That's
Do the
it.
Mr.
Yeah.
Baseball rule.
Just
The
do
other
it.
thing,
They had ties back in the day. They had
Yeah.
ties as recently as 2016
yeah,
when the Cubs ended the season on a tie against Pittsburgh because they were all like, why the fuck are we doing
Frick it,
this?
we're out.
Yeah, they used to have
Um,
Call of Darkness too a lot.
Yeah,
before
Call of
lights.
Darkness was a reason for a tie. And there were other reasons, I'm sure, if you dig hard enough, I haven't.
Yeah.
But I can say that every other professional league on earth, including the CPBL and the NPB, and KBO as well, I believe, calls games after 12 innings, no matter what. And they just deal with ties at the end of the season. It counts as both a half a win and half a loss. And it's fine. Like, it's fine. And then we don't have to deal with burning a bullpen or position players or whatever for the 13th to 15th to 28th inning of a game that ultimately shouldn't freaking matter. And when everybody has to go home and like play again the next day. Like, when we're talking about baseball getting to a point where managing pitcher innings really does matter for the purposes of people's health, we should probably be limiting innings more than we are like adding random ghost runners. Though, to be fair, international baseball rules have a ghost runner on first and second in extra innings.
Well, okay.
And
you want to bring that up?
Mind you.
Corey Finneran, late of the Ivy Envy podcast, when they were talking about when this first started coming up, I remember seeing him say that they should just have the bases loaded. And if you're going to do it, yeah, fucking do it that way. Because you know what? You'll never get past the 10th because a base hit will score 2 or 3
I like runners on first and second. That's international baseball rules. That's what's done in.
But if you fill up the bases, the numbers are going to be different every time.
Yeah, but I don't like, my goal isn't to end the game faster.
But wait, hold on. You don't like bunts though.
I hate bunts.
And what I found out a couple of weeks ago is that if you have a guy in first and second, it's okay to bunt at the end of the game to move them over.
Look,
I heard that somewhere.
If it works,
still
do it.
blows
The fact
my
that I don't
fucking
like
mind.
a bunt I like bunts when they work. The fact is,
hey,
but
that's
my point is to be consistent across leagues, because we are trading players with NPB. We are trading players with KBO. Lots of guys who are, finding that their skills are no longer 100% relevant in MLB baseball, go to Taiwan to finish out their careers. Like, why not play consistently, like have the same rules of baseball worldwide?
Oh, because I don't
going to be participating in international baseball.
Rules. We shouldn't even have the same rules in the MLB. We should have
wait, hold on. One at a time. I can't understand
the other one.
Cotton, shut up! I'm talking.
Yeah, Cotton, do you realize that when you talk over here that nobody can hear anything?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Shush.
What
I am saying is, in every professional baseball league on earth, other than MLB, we end games after 12 innings with a tie if necessary.
Okay.
And in international tournaments, in tournament play, they have extra inning games with runners on first base and second.
Okay, and
to be
I was not against that.
Leagues,
I was just saying
I
add
would
him to the
agree
third
with
base as well.
that.
Okay, and
Thank you,
David
Danny.
Elliott. Hold on, David Elliott makes the point. The challenge of baseball is the
something
fact
boring
that
that nobody cares about. Oh yeah, you are. Sorry, I'm going back to sleep.
No, because fuck off. Look, I'm trying. David Elliott says the challenge of baseball is the fact that it is a marathon. It's 162 games. It's no clock. Need to manage the available players, play to win or don't. And I do agree with that. And I think, honestly,
Generally.
and
But
I think that in the current iteration, we need to put more of an emphasis on winning the division, because the playoffs are no longer the playoffs. It's a tournament. So you need to shift the focus to the division, make that a big deal, make it a big trophy, make it something that these teams actually really want. And then, but then outside of like with these extra inning games and stuff, that's fine that other people do it this way. They never did it this way. And I'm not against change, but this one runner, I like the
Both
two
teams
runners
get it.
that you're talking about better than the one runner.
Absolutely.
But I thought
It
Corey
sets up
Finner
a
made a
double
great
play.
point about the three runners, because then it's never going to get past the fucking 10th, because there's going to be one run or two runs or three runs or four. Like, it's never going to be one run, then one run, then one run, then one
Right.
run.
Someone's
Like
going
we
to
had
score
the other
two
day.
runs. Well, and I do want to point out, though, that the Diamondbacks bunted over their man on second twice and won, and they did that by default and won the game in extras doing that exact thing.
Yeah,
Just
and
for
I
that run.
believe that's how Team Samurai Japan wins so many international tournaments, because they know when to bunt.
Yeah, and they did that by default, and they've got the team to do it with. They've got a fast team. They can run the bases well. They actually score runs from third base on contact plays. Cubs don't do that.
Yeah,
ever.
because they go, oh, I'm on third, fuck it, run.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Defense, figure it out.
As
Never
far
seen
as
it.
I've ever been able to see that contact play from third, that is just an out waiting to happen. I've
Well,
never seen it.
that's because we tend to do it with slow players.
So let's take a break, because
Okay.
let's take a break, because we got to. What I want to do is just take one break, and then
I need
'cause
to take off my sweatshirt. I'm hot now.
Yeah, I know. I got you all mad. So, but
Hey, Cotton, we're still
get-
friends, right?
we got the Pirates coming up.
Oh,
And
you're the worst.
all right. We're just going to break. I'm not even going to explain it anymore.
Bye.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today. If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his double U. Cody Bellinger smoking dupes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your strobe. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about Ketchermetrics? How about a coffee or run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
Okay, we are back. Still here with Artie Boucher, Mr. Fourth Row, filling in on Cubs Pod this week. Big Cub fan, longtime ranter. Back here, everybody's cooled down a little bit.
I have both had a costume change.
Yeah. You're like, I gotta change my clothes. I'm all sweaty from having a fight with you.
I wanted to jump in with some of the comments over here in the side.
Yeah, let's let other people argue.
Dominic Gloro, I'm still awake.
Why?
Yep.
Yeah, my costume change. It's international baseball related. The Hanshin Tigers have clinched the playoffs for the Pacific League, so I'm wearing my Kosuke Fukudome Hanshin Tigers jersey.
Nice.
So yay, good job, Tigers. They're doing
Facebook
great.
user
Really
still awake. Mike Waller. LOL, I wasn't going to listen live tonight, but Cotton ranting about clown ball is just what I needed. And he also says he just needs 6 or 8 of us to talk at the same time. We'll be fine.
well, join the show, Michael.
It's like freaking
Plug it.
it's like Crossfire. It's like you can't understand
I
anything.
do have to say, this week of Cubs baseball has been demoralizing.
It's been
It
tough.
is ripped at my very soul. I'm just watching this and I'm dying every day and I'm just getting so frustrated and whatever. And then I come on here and despite maybe what the outwardly appearance, I'm having the best.
It's
This
so
is the
fun.
Because you let it
Cubs
deal.
experience you
out.
can have this week.
It's therapy.
It is.
It is. This is Cubs group therapy. That's what this is.
Better out than in.
And if you join our Patreon, you can have group therapy there too.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out afterwards. Not too long tonight because it's already 10:20 here in the Central Time Zone.
Well, it's 8:19 here, and I'm ready to party. Let's go.
All right, so come on over to Discord, join us over there with the other 116 of you that are still with us as Patreon members. But I did want to throw some transactions. Here's the team we're going with down the line. We did not even mention the fact that Marcus Stroman was activated, pitched in relief. Michael Fulmer went to the IL. Daniel Palencia had to come back. Daniel Palencia had frequent flyer miles this week. He got optioned to the Cubs. I believe, I don't know who came for. Oh, well, yeah, he got optioned to the Cubs when Stroman came back. And then Fulmer went back to the IL that he just got off of with a right forearm strain. I don't know if we're going to see Fulmer anymore. Then Palencia came back.
Probably
So he went, you know, I know Iowa and Colorado isn't
I
that
really
far.
hope he didn't have to make the trip.
I bet he did. I mean, it was, I wouldn't see why he'd stick around. So he probably got on that plane that day and went to Iowa and then came back. But I would like to know the answer to that question. We lost Anthony Kay, the lefty that we saw a little bit for the Cubs. The Mets claimed him for some reason. Jamer Candelario went to the IL. That kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know if he'll get back. Hopefully he's only the 10-day, and we obviously need him because we keep losing without him. Alexander Canario was recalled on the 12th because of that. I'm going backwards in time, by the way. But he didn't matter because he didn't play, and he was the move for Candelario.
Right.
It's
we
really
switched
messed up
Candy
when
for
people
Canny.
do that. Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
I just said we switched Candy for Canny.
Yeah. There's only Adele in the middle that makes their names different.
Yeah. But Canny's the one who he plays in lead-om in the offseason. He's the one who was out for a really long time because he screwed up his ankle and his shoulder sliding into first base in the lead-om season last year. And it was really exciting that he came back and he was hitting on this really great streak, and he got called up, and I'm like, man, we're going to get to see Canny play. And then we haven't really gotten to see Canny play.
Got to ride the guys who got you there.
Yeah. Well, you ride the pine, Canny, on your Canny.
Well, I don't know why they took him out of where he was doing really well to make him sit on the bench and watch other people suck. But hey, here we are. Anyway, so then we called up Alzolay on September 11th.
No, we didn't.
Or,
We
no,
put him on the
placed him
IL.
IL on September 11th because I can read.
Yeah, he went to the IL. That's going to hurt us, retroactive to the day before.
Cool.
Another right forearm strain, and and we got Pete Crow Armstrong. So all these people came up to try to help, and a couple of the guys we've been riding our guys. They got like Fulmer pitched in every game.
They rode all the way to the injured list.
Yeah. So we wrote him to the injured list, and we have Luke Little got in the game today. So
I'm really happy to see Luke Little. I'm really sad to see what happened to Luke Little today. He was not his best self in today's game. But again, your season shouldn't probably, hinge on somebody who got called up from AA doing really well in a relief position. So it wouldn't have helped anything anyway.
I love how they keep mentioning that he's 220 pounds. Just every time they talk about him. Luke Little,
like he's also 6'8". Like he's a very big boy. It's not
there's no fucking way he's 220 pounds. He was 220 pounds when he was 18.
Chris Bryant is 220 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think they have Christopher Morel listed as like 150 pounds or something. Like it's ridiculous. If you look it up, Kyle Schwarber is 190 pounds or something.
Right,
like,
but they don't mention it. They don't mention it every single time they see him. That's the thing that drives me nuts. Every single time Luke Little comes out there, they're like, he's 6'8" and 220 pounds, and you're like,
no, baby, no, he's not.
Everyone knows he's
like
not 220
if it's a day.
Those are
well, at least Daniel Vogelbach is right. He's 6 foot tall, even 270 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's very true, Danny. So very true.
I don't know. That might be low.
Good fluffy boy.
You think he's doing 300? I don't know if he's got 300 on him.
At this point in the season, maybe not. Preseason,
he might have lost weight on the season. Yeah.
It's so funny because I follow the Mariners really hard too because I'm over here in Seattle, and like their catcher Cal Raleigh is known very fondly over here as Big Dumper. For all of the reasons that you would think a catcher would be called that. And I swear that poor boy has lost 30 pounds over the last few months because like our backup catcher is injured. So he's just playing every single game. And I'm like, somebody please take this boy out for spaghetti dinner or 5.
Oh my God.
So it sounds like a lot of the batters are getting in the professional wrestling business. You always go to the announcer, go, hey, give me your stats, where you're from, everything like that. Sounds right. and a lot of them, it's professional wrestling. So it sounds like a lot of these guys are doing that to the broadcast team, slipping them the index card. Here's what I want you to say. They're
like messing with their fighting weight a little bit. I mean, I would be here for a pregame weigh-in just for sheer gossip purposes, right. But yeah,
or somebody just saying, please don't call me Big Dumper.
Oh no! Like we sell jerseys. It's fully like endorsed at this point.
Yeah. Coincidentally, Joey W. writing and saying he was a big dumper at a gas station in Kokomo, Indiana today. So, congratulations.
It was in the post game.
It's where you gotta go. Kokomo.
So at T-Mobile Park here in Seattle, they do like a few, once every homestand or something. They do a drone show where they have like drones with lights that show like, hey, here's a picture of, Ichiro and all this stuff. But they did one where it was Cal Raleigh hitting that game that clinched them into the wild card last year. And it just said Big Dumper. And it's like, dude, imagine if you were in Seattle and you knew nothing about baseball and you're like just in town for like a business meeting or something. You look out your hotel window and you see the sky lit up with Big Dumper.
I gotta get out of this town, man, before something bad happens to me.
What is going on here?
Before get out of this town. I got to get out of my hotel room. Big Dumper out there.
Where's the Big Dumper? I'm going to go find that.
So hopefully the Cubs don't continue taking a big dump this week. They're coming back.
Oh, look at that professional segue.
You like
Great
that?
job.
Tuesday through Thursday, night games against the Pittsburgh Pirates. In fact, I tried to have comedian Zach Funk come on and talk about his team, but he tested positive for COVID today.
Aw.
And so he's not
And
feeling
he
up
has
to it.
a
COVID
remote
so
show?
bad, he was worried about giving it to us through the internet.
Yeah. And in other kind of sickness news, Brian Ziegler, our other Pirates guy, joined a cover band, so he
What?
wasn't available. Yeah.
Who's he covering? I need to know.
Billy
Hold on, I
Joel
need
and-
a lot
yeah.
more details.
Yeah. Yeah, he was saying he was doing a bunch of Billy Joel songs, so he wasn't available tonight because he had a busy
He's-
weekend playing with his new cover band. But
Doing
that's
piano
equally as
band.
bad as COVID is, I think, joining a cover band. But no, he's an awesome guitar player. But he says he's having fun. I'm just kidding, Brian. But
Good job, Brian.
the
Anyway.
Pirates are coming in and they just swept DC, which we couldn't do. They only got one from Atlanta. They only got one from Milwaukee. They only got one from the Yankees. They're not really playing great, but they're going to totally sweep us, right? I mean, that's what's happening.
No, we were so for everybody who's listening, before the show starts, we're having these conversations because we've got nothing better to do than to talk about the exact same shit we're going to talk about on the show
So
to each other
true,
by
Becky.
ourselves. But we were talking about how they've got what do they got? 13 games, 12 games left. They've got 12 games left. They need to win 3 of these games to reach 81 wins and have a 500 season. And that's going to be the Pirates this week. And then they're just going to get swept by
Lose out.
the Rockies, the Braves, and the Brewers to end the season.
Remember,
just
this
gonna-
is all Eric Hosmer's fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go with that.
But
It's
yeah,
something somebody to point out that he can't do anything about it, right?
the Pirates have only beaten the Cubs once this year.
One
Cubs
time.
are 9-1 versus the Pirates. So
And
this
they don't have Rich Hill anymore.
Yeah, they don't have a lot. They got all these rookies, and that's kind of what I'm scared of, is that the Cubs are playing very deflated baseball. The Pirates within our division these young guys would love to make a statement and play spoiler
Oh, that's
against
so
us.
true.
And especially do it in front of our face. And if you recall, they did that once before to us in 2018 when we needed every freaking win down the line. In fact, that no fighting in the bleachers game where there was
Ooh.
that racist fight that I filmed,
Yep.
that was against the Pirates, and it was a loss on a Monday night, like late in the season, where you're like, oh, and then we'll beat the Pirates. And no, we didn't. We got our asses handed to us. Big people are fighting each other.
I really
and-
wish we had won more games in May.
Yeah. And then you look back and, you got a bad May, you got a bad September. I mean, it's been a losing September so far for the Pirates too. They haven't been playing well, but it's just like they are 8-7 in. That's better than the Cubs have been in September so far.
And
Actually,
they're
they
still ahead of the Cardinals.
They're 9-7 actually, 9-7, and they're ahead of the Cardinals. Exactly. So they're not even the worst team in the division. So they are not good in anything. They're top 10 in taking walks, and they can hit triples because they're fast. So, but who hits triples these days? Alfie brings up Rockies had trash starters, still beat us. Pirates are still better than the Rockies. Exactly. And then the Rockies are coming back in. We're supposed to beat them. I don't know.
Well,
You're losing Hendricks starts this week. You're losing Justin Steele starts this week. Justin Steele lost the Cy Young this week.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't. You think
Yeah.
he lost it? Like
Yes.
it was so frustrating.
Still a
This
vote-in reward, so
is- yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
unless
He'll get Justin Steele will get 3 more starts. 2.
but Snell needs to blow up. You got to go in as the ERA leader because you're not leading in everything else. You don't have the innings, you don't have the strikeouts, you don't have all the other sexy numbers. So you need at least the ERA, and he doesn't have it right now.
Well, but if he gets a but he's not. He's probably, if I'm just thinking right, he's not going to see Atlanta, right?
Who knows what's going to happen by the end?
If you win against Atlanta, that's going to be at least a bonus. But yeah, I don't know if I think he might miss him.
And the other thing I want to say about the Pirates is that, who knows, they're all TBD, but we're throwing out us probably, I'm guessing, Assad, Tyone, and Steele. I do wonder if Marcus Stroman is going to take one of these starts. And this is maybe the last thing I kind of really want to talk about on this show too. Big topic wise is, Stroman out of the bullpen versus Stroman as a starter / opener.
Yeah, I can see him as an opener, maybe going 3 innings, like max 3 innings, and then bringing somebody in. But
maybe maybe one of the games against the Rockies at home as an opener.
Yeah, he looked pretty good the other day. Like coming back, he threw
back-to-back days.
Yeah, he threw on back-to-back days. The first day, he only faced 8 batters. He walked 1, gave up 1 hit. I thought he looked good. But I don't know. I think IFG, you brought this up about not putting him in there to get hurt. Like, you really do have to limit him at this moment. Like, I could see playing him, but yeah, he can't go full 100%.
I mean, the Cubs have no incentive to save him because he's in a walk year, right? Like, if he does really good, maybe he signs somewhere else. Maybe they don't.
Well,
care
but
too
he's
much if he
not.
gets really hurt.
The worse he does, the more likely he comes back.
Right. Exactly. So, it's kind of tinfoil hat-y, but, maybe they don't care too much if he hurts himself while he's playing.
Well, if he hurts himself, though, he will definitely come back. So they would,
right? Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. So I
don't know. Okay, real quick poll on. We'll do the poll in the chat, but we'll do a poll here on the show.
Starter or
the poll that I did for
Stroman back next year. Stroman back next year. Put your hand up. Ooh, I'm the only one that
right now.
I think he's coming back.
Yeah. No, as of right now, I think he's coming back.
Yeah. Want him back?
Do I want him back?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Somebody's got to throw the baseballs, and who are we going to pay for?
Okay, so we're 2-2. So in the chat, start chiming in. Do you want Stroman back next year?
The poll that I did in the Discord for the Patreon members a few days ago was over under 2.5 games before he's back on the injured list.
Yeah, like Fulmer, same thing. Like he came up for 5 days and Ross used him probably every day. I didn't look that up, but and then he
in the Rocky series, yeah.
So yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of. I think we're all afraid of that. And Mike Waller, if they break him, they keep him, and that's the way that
exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah,
because the Cubs have no incentive to protect his health at this point in the season.
The first 4 people who chimed in said bring Stroh back.
Well, absolutely, because who do you get if not him? At his
I'm not even saying that. I'm not even saying it's all downhill from him. I'm just saying I like Pedro.
Oh my God.
Pedro Stroman.
God damn it. Pedro Stroman hits me again. I like Marcus Stroman, and I like the way that he pitches.
It's all TBD. It's all TBD, and I actually don't really like them using him out of the pen. That's too much of a crapshoot. Why are you messing with him at this point of his career when we're in the time of openers, when you could just have him go through his normal routine and at least give you you got a bunch of off days.
He finished that game though, right? Like he came out and
he did 2 innings.
Right, but that was the end of the game. It felt like he was going to finish the game though. Maybe it was
6-0 and he took 2 innings. This is not competitive baseball at this point. The Cubs ended up hitting a bunch of home runs in the end, but
I think it felt like they told him he was coming in after the starter's out, right? like you're going to go Steele and then you're going to go Stroman. That was the
If
game,
he was
right?
told that, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of against a team that you're trying to get in the wild card. What is this, spring training where you're just like setting these guys up? I know that they know who's available and who isn't, but for to
we
be
know the
told
Cubs-
like Marcus Stroman, like regardless of
The
the
Cubs
matchups,
play
you're going
this
to
like
come in
Little
this
League
game.
all the time.
They used him in garbage time. They used him when it was 6-0. This is not competitive use of Marcus Stroman. Is he
He's
helping
not
you,
a
or is-
bullpen pitcher. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, it's killing me here. Marcus Stroman is not a bullpen pitcher. He is a starter. He has his routine. He has this thing he needs to do before he's ready to go. He cannot be called on 30 seconds before an inning starts to be ready.
But I don't think he was. I think they told him he's coming in after stealing that game and he's going to close out. He's going to finish out the game. I think that was the plan.
Well, he certainly wasn't told he's coming into a 13-inning game the next day.
Yeah,
When,
the Saturday, but
there's not. There's
again,
no
I mean,
telling.
it's 13
They're
innings.
using. No, they're just
Yeah,
using him
and
wrong.
inning Saturday, he didn't.
I agree.
do it,
I agree.
so-
They're using him wrong. I just think of that steal start. I think it was 100% decided before
Yeah,
the
no,
game.
they were like, okay,
that
we're
they
going
were
to
bringing
ease you
him in.
into this because this is more about you than it is about the team or whatever. But like,
Yeah, they were going to bring him in whether they had a lead or not, and
Right.
so they brought him in, and he pitched 2 innings, and he did a good job. The next game was just, obviously it was mismanagement throughout.
They needed
and
him.
it's-
They needed somebody. Yeah.
yep,
They needed
because
somebody.
they needed warm bodies. It didn't matter
But
who.
I'm
was on.
saying if you're going to use him out of the pen, that's how you got to use him because of what Danny is saying. Danny is, I think, 100% right. He has a ritual that he goes through, and if you
Right, 'cause he's a
tell him
starter.
he's going to
Also
come in, then you got to bring him in. So if you want to start him and say you're doing 3 innings, and just let him know that, and you're going to get out of there after 3 innings no matter what, or if you're going to bring him in after the starter and try and finish the game, you know what I mean? But it's a 100% thing. You can't change your mind in the 6th inning when you need to bring a guy in. You can't say, well, we have a lefty.
I guess
coming
we'll
up,
bring
so we
in
don't wanna do it."
Stroman. No, you can't do that
You're gonna have
because
to.
he's not a reliever. He doesn't like know how to be. I guess say it all the time on the show. Pitchers are insane, and relievers, backup pitchers, those guys, they're particularly like a special kind of crazy. And you have to be a special form of nuts to be able to like know that you're pitching and 45 seconds later be ready to go.
Yeah, they're gonna script him in somewhere. Probably.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be a
For
scripted thing.
Stroman,
Perfect
absolutely.
terminology.
He's going to know 24 hours before because he's going to have to meditate about it and like talk to the pitching gods and all of these things all the way up to the point where he actually throws a ball.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that he just broke his rib throwing baseballs.
Which just seems stupid to use somebody in a way that they've never been used before, at least not for a long time, to now do something they've never done before as they come back from injury in the middle of a pennant race.
Yeah.
So, all year long, they've been, let's put Mancini in right. Let's put him at first base. Let's make Nick Madrigal. Let's make Nick Madrigal a third baseman. Let's not let Let's make Christopher Morel a center fielder or a right fielder.
Let's make Christopher Morel and everything but one,
everything
except for the one thing he does.
all year long. Let's not let Assad start. He ends up being like one of your best starters down the stretch. I mean, it's just like, let's let Smiley go out there a million times. Let's let Stroh pitch injured for half the year. Let's let, just every fucking decision they make has been stupid. And they just keep piling on dumber decisions like the Stroman one.
Well, you know what? Speaking of decisions being made, and sticking with what they know and what they like, right here, Lil Yumper jumps in here. Okamoto will not be posted this year. He is staying in Japan.
I am not a Yomiuri Giants fan, but I am an Okamoto fan. And the Yomiuri Giants do not participate in the posting system. Okamoto won't be a free agent until after the 2025 season, and you will not see him available in the United States before then, period, end of story. He is part of the Yomiuri Giants plan going forward. He hits 40 plus dongs a year. He's not going anywhere. He's not available. Don't listen to anybody that tells you otherwise.
You know, since we're talking about Japanese players that hit 40 plus dongs, and we're also talking about pitching, what happened? What the fuck?
With Shohei?
He just
oh
left.
my gosh,
He's
I'm
done.
delighted. No, Shohei, he yoinked his oblique and he's out for this season. He left before that game where Javi and the rest of the Tigers like just mowed over the Angels. Shohei was gone before that game even started. He left behind a few Angels t-shirts and like a duffel bag full of stuff, but he was back in the dugout today, like just like coaching the boys and being a mensch. So like I don't know. I don't see him going back to the Angels again after this season. He's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants. He has nothing left to prove, but he's not going to play in another game this season. We have seen all of that we have seen from Shohei. He's put up 10 WAR with missing a month of the season, which, you know, is pretty darn good.
Well, as Tucker Barnhart has taught us, you rack up a lot of WAR, positive or negative, when you pitch and you play in the field.
So true. So true.
So, well, we have all off season to talk about who the Cubs will need, but I want to get over to the Discord.
Waller has our new T-shirt, I think.
Yeah, I saw that. I hear Danny in my ears, but cotton in my brain. You got cotton in
Where
your
do
brain.
you hear me, Michael?
In his heart.
I love it.
We are hosting a competition right now that is being won by Joey W right now. Like hands down, he's winning the thing. But somebody should make more videos because it's a lot of fun. So make
do a TikTok, y'all.
Do a TikTok, do an Instagram reel or something like that. Also, hashtag Chance in the chat right now. Win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. This Wednesday, we're all going to be out in the bleachers. Michael Cotton's going to be there. And we're going to hang out and celebrate Dan Nielsen's birthday. We're going to meet at a place called Almost Home, which is just north of Wrigley Field, right on Clark, right by the Obvious Shirt store. It's just a little bit north on Clark Street and Grace, right on the corner there. They'll have room for us. There's food there. We're going to meet there at 5 o'clock, and then we will go to the bleachers from there because the game's at 6:40. All these games are earlier than usual. 6:40. The 7:05 is done for the season as it gets darker earlier. And hey, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Let me drop the link in the chat real quick. If you're watching, you can still join the Facebook event that we have for Dan Nielsen's birthday celebration. And if you don't know and you're just watching for the first time, Dan Nielsen is a ranter that died. And, you know, I put up a picture of him real quick because I think I got it in the brand. And he died last year. And it was a shock. He had a stroke. And it's his birthday on Wednesday. So a bunch of his family is coming in from Omaha, Nebraska. We're all going to hang out for the afternoon or for the night game. And we put a message on the video board. And his parents are going to be there. And hopefully it'll just be a nice tribute to Dan on his birthday. Hopefully we get the W that day, but there are a ton of birthdays coming up. I looked on my calendar here, and holy cow.
October's a big week, big month.
Well, first of all, today is the anniversary of Ernie Banks' debut in the major leagues, 70 years ago today. Ryan Sandberg's birthday is tomorrow. Lindsay Gable, that's our bass player's wife, Lindsay. They just had a child last year, a little 1-year-old. Dan Nielsen on Wednesday. Joe Kilgallen on Thursday. Then the anniversary of when I asked Ricketts to buy us a team after we lost to the Twins, my man.
You saw that.
That's on Friday. Eric Wheelo and Johnny Onomatopoeia are next Wednesday on the 27th.
They share a birthday?
Yeah, they have the same
birthday.
birthday.
How can those two people, one salt of the earth and one should be salted,
I don't know.
How do they share the same
Must be
birthday?
rising signs or
A little,
something. I
little
don't
bit
know.
of yin and yang.
Yeah. Stan Mitchell is on the 26th. He's a ranter, and so is Ari Soglin. His birthday is on Monday, and Hal Oberheide, who we lost last year, as well. His birthday is on the 26th. So just tons of birthdays. So if it is your birthday, and Levante as well. He's next week. So, man, it keeps going. Birthdays, and hope to see y'all on.
Well, I mean,
Wednesday.
September's the 9th month, and everybody says that couples like to get frisky around the holidays. So, it's that, it's that Christmas to New Year's sort of stretch into.
Look, it's cold, okay?
Yeah. You're warming yourself up. So, I hope to see you. All you got to do is get a bleacher ticket. You can come hang out with us.
It's cold and there's no baseball.
Yeah. And there's just, who's the guy that said, like, I just sit out and look out the window and wait for baseball?
And wait for spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was that?
I don't know.
It wasn't Ty Cobb, right? It was somebody good.
Might have been. I don't know.
No, it was, fuck.
It wasn't Honus Wagner, was it? That seems too old.
No.
Somebody's saying the
somebody
chat.
in the chat will know.
So let's get to these.
Joey, it's not Cuddle Time. Cuddle Time played in the 70s, and he wasn't into
Rogers
waiting for the
Hornsby.
spring.
Rogers Hornsby, yes. So it was somebody like Honus Wagner. It was Rogers Hornsby. It's kind of like the same person.
Practically.
It's really weird when a person's
Except
first
Rogers
name
Hornsby
is
didn't
plural.
have a brother named Butts.
So I got something to show you guys. Look at. Oh no, go ahead. Play it.
What?
Play it.
Oh, I think I just hit that accidentally. It was the last time we were all happy.
Baez hits it on the ground to third. Gonzalez.
This play will always be fun.
Oh my goodness! Wow, you got to be kidding
This
me!
is amazing. Hobby signaled safe before running to
You
first.
have got to be kidding me, Javi Baez. Keep going, go,
Oh, wait.
go!
You're invisible.
El Mago indeed.
Back when we were happy.
That is unbelievable.
But see,
That is incredible.
honestly, the best call of this play,
What is
though,
Will Craig
is
thinking
from the
about here?
Pirates.
Just take the
and I
ball to
believe
first
maybe
base.
their
Backpedal to first base.
it's possibly their radio crew at some point
That was just
they
incredible.
started to say
I don't know
the
that I've ever seen a first base
calliope is
coach
playing
wave a guy down
and the
first base and
circus
hadn't
is
gotten
like
there
they
yet.
just lost their mind and they were like the calliope is playing and he's running around like they were so upset. So wonderful.
I love it.
So I got a couple of TFCs. This one I would only bring on this show because I hate to mess with these Foco guys because they do a pretty good job on their bobbleheads usually. But I texted Crawley specifically. I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is supposed to be Pat Hughes in his
What?
national." Yeah, his
It's
national-
absolutely that is the same bobblehead that they put out for Anthony Rizzo.
That's like in the Avengers when Captain America went in time and was gray and old. That was like Anthony Rizzo. You know, when he got old.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is Anthony Rizzo.
Anthony
in the
Rizzo with
future.
the TikTok aged filter.
exactly. So so that's kind of a TFC, but I have this too. This from HOF reply guy on Twitter. He says, "Can Sutcliffe's mic get cut? I'm going through it right now. Last thing I need is to hear his constant yapping."
Dude,
I was like-
man, just do what I do. Mute the television.
mute it.
Do your
I
own
love-
call in the living room. It's fine.
Yeah, dude.
I
just turn it
love
off.
that he points out he's like, I'm going through it.
Yeah. So, and I got one more, and I don't think anybody else has any TFCs in here.
If
I don't-
anybody knows Cubby Bellinger, I feel like Cubby Bellinger could use a good Son Ranto podcast.
But this is my last one, and it's I like Jenny Carroll on Facebook from one of the Facebook groups says, "Please unfriend me if you are not a Cubs fan. I really don't have time for people that don't like the Cubs."
So true, Bessie. So true.
I love it.
I could kind of get with that. So we will hang out at Discord. I'm trying to end the show a little bit earlier today, so we go over there because I want to hang out with you guys instead of being on this show. So we've cut it short, which means it's still 20 minutes longer than every other Cubs podcast put together. Hashtag Chance in the chat, and you can win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. So please get your chances in for the chance because I'm going to draw it right now. Boom. I
love how we all have different songs.
Tom Cooper. Congratulations, Tom.
I don't know Tom Cooper. Is this a first timer?
Are you here? Where are you, Tom Cooper? Yes, he said that the Pat Hughes bobblehead looks like Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get it because it didn't form that in a form of a question.
So, Artie, thanks for coming on and letting us not let you talk. I really appreciate that.
Artie has been sitting through this whole thing.
He's sitting here laughing the entire time. It's been delightful.
Our on-camera listener.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me doing the podcast. And cheap plugs, Wrestling with Altitude, RMP Radio, podcast. Follow me on social media. You know what?
I will absolutely endorse RMP Radio. I listened to it the other day, and when Artie first started, I think Wrestling with Altitude I listened to for a little bit, but then I'm not like super into wrestling, and then this is
Danny was on an RMP Radio episode with one of the wrestlers. We talked when we did that 2020 ESPN thing. A show came on. I forgot what it was. Way back when.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the link Wrestling with Altitude.
I listened to RMP Radio the other day. You were on with the announcer at RMP Radio, the Encyclopedia. I forget his real name.
Lucas Bradwell.
And you guys had a really good rapport. You guys worked well off of each other, and it was very entertaining and interesting listen. And for me, look, it's all about that. Like when you listen to a podcast, you enjoy how the people work off of each other and what they're doing. It's probably like wrestling, right? The best wrestling is when the guys are working off of each other really well and they're doing all this stuff. So I really did enjoy it. I don't know the guys you were talking about because they're Rocky Mountain Pro wrestlers and I'm in Iowa, but
we told the story of the pay-per-view.
Despite that, I went through the whole thing. I was like, oh, I'm into this. This is good. So
that's Rocky Mountain Pro. So in case RMP, in case you didn't get that, like
RMP
like
Radio.
Roger, Mary, Paul.
Yeah.
So you
which
should,
is
so
Bizarro, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Absolutely, if you're into wrestling, you need to go check that out, and then you need to, because they have all their stuff on YouTube as well, and you can watch the shows and you can listen to Artie talk about it. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, it was a really good show, Artie, even for a novice who didn't know what you were talking about. I enjoyed what you guys were doing together and listening to it. So great job.
Thank you.
And so from an absolute, like, no clue, being able to go through and like listen to the entire show and enjoy it, that's, I think, the highest recommendation I can give.
Yeah. And that's one thing we also try to strive to at RMP is that if you are not following the product for a long time, we should be able to tell a story from where we're at right there to be able to kind of get you a little bit of the backstory, so you don't have to necessarily go back, and to be able to pick up right there and get entertained by what's currently happening.
Yeah,
well, check it out.
You nailed it. Yeah, for sure.
Everybody check it out, and we'll be here with you with the Cubs Ultimate Collapse this week and next week. This is what the Son Ranto Show was built for. Go on over to the Discord tonight if you are a Patreon supporter. We'll be hanging out there for at least a half hour. I'd love to hear from all of you and how you're feeling right now during this epic Cubs collapse. Here's a song about another epic Cubs collapse, the Cubs of '69.
Nice.
I was young then.
Spugger.
Go.
When Billy and Ernie and Ronnie and Glenn took everyone for a ride, and Fergie and Randy and Kenny Holtzman had Chicago on their side. The day the astronauts walked on the moon, they beat Philadelphia twice. And the New York Mets were 5 games behind the Cubs of '69. They got castigated by Leo the Lip. They played no home games at night. Jenkins and Hans 300 innings pitched. It put their shoulders on ice. While hippies at Woodstock made love in the mud, the Cubs split 4 games with the Giants. And the New York Mets were 8 games behind the Cubs of '69. The Cubs of '69. They were the Cubs of '69. The greatest second place team of all time, never led again after September 9th. The Cubs of '69. The Cubs of '69. The Cubs of '69. The Cubs of '60. Leo knew who always finishes last. The Cubs were a bunch of nice guys. Santo got jinxed by a little black cat. Don Young was dropping pop flies. Cubs lost 2 of 3 on a trip to LA, while Charles Manson committed his crimes. And the New York Mets were 7 games behind the Cubs of '69. The Cubs of '69. They were the Cubs of '69. The greatest second place team of all time, never led again after September 9th. The Cubs of '69. The Cubs of '60. Hard-hatted bleacher bum, Santo heel clicks. AG was out on the slide. Holtzman shut down Atlanta with no hits. The starters were getting so tired. Phil Regan pitched in almost half of the games. Neil Diamond sang Sweet Caroline. So good! The Cubs ended the season 8 games behind the Cubs of '69. They were the Cubs of '69. The greatest second place team of all time, never led again after September 9th. The Cubs of '69. The Cubs of '69.
Thank you.